Let me tell you a thing.
Like,
The number.
fair?
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna fold these because they're cards and I love them. So see this? Okay.
I do.
Somebody, generally older white men. I'm not. Listen, I'm just telling you the data. They have their money, right? Oh no, it's stuck together.
Yeah.
Ah,
I will
thumb
commit
to
arson in your
money. And then and it's not like it's just one bill. No, they're fanning through that shit with their saliva, sloped hand.
They're
It's
reading
fine.
through the sports section.
It's
Just
marginally better than what I thought you meant, which was like hold money, then like.
Oh no.
thank you, Will. The emotional
That would
damage.
be terrifying. They have to leave my store because
Yeah.
there's something going on there that I can't be a part of. But yeah, no. It's thumb to tongue, that, and it's always the same motion, that, every single time. And then they go through, even when they don't need to separate it, because I've watched that happen a couple of times. Yeah, it's like the bills are separating just fine, and they still do that. I'm like, but why though? The whole world shut down for like 2 years. What are we doing?
I thought we knew better by now. Like I thought we would grow as a people. Incorrect.
I mean, that's why I switched to tipping drag queens on fucking Venmo. Like
Honestly,
because you don't have to handle cash
move.
anymore.
Exactly, because cash is gross.
Fuck cash.
I will have this rant until I die because there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it.
It is 110% valid. Hello, chat. Welcome, everyone. As is LFTA tradition, we jumped right in with a rant happening pre-stream. So I am very appreciative of Q giving me his consent to go live in the middle of this. Thank you, Q. And yes, I am going to do the housekeeping before I let our lovely players introduce themselves and their characters. Although you should know them and their characters' faces by now, because they are all amazing and are bringing such feral energy. And as referenced in the chat, I don't know, we might be experiencing some consequences of our actions tonight. It's going to be fine.
The Rammies are strong with this one.
The Rammies are really strong with this one. I'm excited. I honestly have a little to do with the amount of drama that they are bringing in.
Question for you, JD. Since I am a Ram in the Chinese zodiac, am I exempt from Rammies?
I think you get double Rammies on account of it's in your name.
You get double Rammies.
It's Rammy o'clock, baby.
I think we're going to have to weigh that out. I think it might actually cancel itself out, so you're just responsible for the normal amount of Rammies.
We got a Rammy counter in chat? Get in the comments.
We'll see.
Dedicated Rammy man.
We will build that in for the next session. It'll just keep growing exponentially. All right. So yes, we are live from the Apocalypse, a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for progressive causes. We are currently raising money for the First Nations Development Institute. At any point during the night, you can type !donate, and a link will come up so that you can donate to that lovely and very important organization. If you do that, the reaction will be that the McElroy brothers will yell at us. And really by us, I mean me, because the cast can't hear it. So you will distract me. You will not distract them. But I might miss out on a particularly spicy moment that is happening or a moment of extreme angst and drama. And then I have to hit pause. And, that's worth it for the money that we get. You also can subscribe, give us bits, all of those other things. However, you need to be forewarned that if you choose to subscribe, Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill a dog for every month that you are subscribed to our channel. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad. It's very tragic. It might be some of Fitz's family members, for all we know.
Fine, but how dare you?
Let him live.
So make your choice. Can you live with yourself for subscribing and the consequences of those actions, or do you just want to give money to a good cause? those were the big housekeeping things. This is A Season of Secrets and Shadows, our Regency-flavored Monsterhearts game.
Yeah, just had fucking grip it and rip it, baby.
Incredible,
Slop
Amber.
that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude.
Thank you for that.
One for the big boy.
Grip it and rip it, baby.
First donation of the night. I know, I was like, unlike our game earlier today, I'm not giving any, we do not have any bonuses for choices to donate, but you are doing a good thing, and that is enough. You do not have to torture the players. We do not need to add to the rammies that these poor characters are already facing. It's fine. So I think with that, I am going to give the cast a chance to introduce themselves, remind us of who they are playing and what Monsterhearts skin they are using, and then we're going to jump full in to the rammies, because there's a lot of them. Oh boy, this is going to be a good time. So I feel so bad, Kit, because I know you're processing, but you are, of course, our first up. So tell us who you are playing, how amazing you are, all of those things.
Ain't that the way of it? Hi, y'all. I'm Kit. You can find me on the internet on Twitter at KitRollCause, on Instagram just at KitRoll. I am just a little guy. I cannot stress this enough. And I will be playing Miss Elise Clarendon tonight using totally not the vampire skin, totally immortal. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm regular and normal.
You are so regular and normal.
I'm just a little guy.
You are just a little guy. It's true.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Not a Rammy in sight.
Not a Rammy in sight. It's fine. All right. Jumping over to you, Q.
Oh, it's me. Hello. Hi, I'm Q. Just creature of the internet, midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. I am going to be playing Mr. Dorian Black this evening, who is also just a guy. He's not a little guy, but he is a guy. Definitely not the Inferno playbook. Definitely won't be seeing any of that here. None of that, you know.
No, I don't even know what you could be referencing, Q.
No, nothing at all. Very excited to get into it.
It's going to be a good time. All right, Alex, you are next up.
Hello, I'm Alex, Mightiest Finn on Twitter as long as Twitter survives or I survive. I also sometimes play games on the internet and write games for not the internet, or the internet if the internet is playing them. Tonight, I am playing Captain Fitzgerald de Villiers, who is also just a regular guy. Sometimes little, sometimes not little, but always just a guy, not at all the werewolf skin. And when I did certain things, I didn't think there would be consequences. So I am not personally ready or responsible for the rammies that happen at this table tonight. Just so you all know, it's JD's fault.
I can live with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I know you can
live
with that.
I know you can.
Can I get a hashtag it's JD's fault in the chat?
Bring it. Come on.
Get in the comments. New Assassos merch. It's JD's fault.
Hashtag JD's fault. And last but certainly not least, Amber, we have you up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber, and I am coming to you live from not my house. Oh my God, Ray, all done. Thank you. Sorry. I am house sitting for my best friend right now, and her dog. All done. She's licking my knees, and it's weird. Anyway, I'm a TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, and streamer, and professional pet babysitter, I guess. And I am playing Lady Astrid Primer, who is in her final year of being a part of society before she is shipped off to the nunnery. She's been through several rounds and one failed engagement, and we'll see what happens. But somebody has already caught her eye. Actually, two somebodies have caught her eye. But do they have nefarious dealings? Who knows? but only the unicorn can find out. Also, I don't have a fan, so I just have my friend's K-pop light stick. So,
which is incredible.
We're gonna see BTS come out.
I mean, I just have to say, Amber, Astrid does have an option available on the table for them. I'm just going to remind Astrid of that.
What
that
option?
Failed engagement doesn't have to be a failed engagement.
Rude.
Yo, he had his
Rude.
chance. They can get absolutely bent, my guy.
Actually, in the words of BTS, love yourself.
Yes. Slay.
That is such a valid response. Such a valid. I respect that. This is going to be an interesting night.
Oh, yeah. Astrid is the fastest because I'm a horse.
Mm-hmm.
We did learn that last time.
The joke. Good night, everyone.
This is the energy that we have tonight. It is going to be a time.
Just a little guy. You guys know this.
That was so good.
I do not know things or stuff. I am just a little guy.
And that's why we love you, kids. That is why we love you. I'm not even going to bother to fully introduce myself. I am JD. I am the storyteller for this game. I do a lot of stuff with LFTA. I think let's get into the Rammies. I am very excited to see what happens. So
I don't want that.
I'm just going to remind myself to the fact that the Rammies are incoming.
Just everybody steel yourselves for that fact. It's fine. It's totally fine. In fact, as we start, it really is fine. What we see as the camera comes up on this particular session is the evening sky just starting to darken on the edges. It is around 5 o'clock, so not particularly late. The sun is, of course, setting later at this point in the season. And there are a string of carriages and horses. And yes, Q, we will get to one of those horses in particular.
Astrid?
I thought it as soon as I said it. And then I regretted my life and choices.
I need to go.
Insta Rammies.
Go right now, immediately.
This is the Rammy. So we see a string of people traveling. That is going to get used a lot tonight. I can already tell. Heading out to the Connolly estate. Some of you are in the carriages. Some of you are on horseback. All of you received an invitation to a dinner at this particular residence. Now, it has been 9 days since the four of you, along with the others out on that ride, found the body of Prince Reynard of the Winter Court. That fact is still hanging heavily over the season. Those who are not direct relations, of course, have much shorter periods of mourning, and it is not expected that the events of the season stop by any means. But there is a somberness that was not there before. Chat is coming for Reynard. I mean, valid, but the chat is coming for Reynard. Where we are going to start is with Miss Elise Clarendon. You are in a carriage reflecting back on some of the events of the past week, particularly the moment where the group of you found Prince Reynard's body and you smelled the scent of blood that had soaked the earth. And I'm going to need you to roll Keep Your Cool.
I'm sure you are. Let me just pull up that little character sheet right here. Not as cold as I would like to be. So that's fun. You can roll it. So that's Snake Eyes.
Ooh.
+1.
No.
Absolutely incredible.
Get in the chat, in the comments.
Absolutely incredible.
That tracks though.
Completely on track.
Do I get to mark experience for that?
You do get to mark experience. That is the good news. Unlike all of us earlier today who could not mark a single point of experience every time we failed a roll.
Well, so I'm fine.
All right.
Everything's fine. I'm having a bad time.
You are having a bad time because, Elise, you leap at Prince Reynard's body.
Yeah, with that roll, I can't really argue for much else.
Can we step in?
So counterpoint.
Counterpoint. I was the first to react. I was potentially not the first to get there.
Yes. I do believe that Fitz and Astrid were the first ones like on the scene.
That is true.
And listen,
I was not far behind.
Fitz knows some things now that he maybe didn't know a day or 3 ago. And I think he has a moment where he's like looking at this blood-drenched scene and like turns back. And it's like eyes directly on Elise. And he's like, oh no. Oh no, this is very bad. And I think he's just running at her and her horse.
I think you can see, because you know to look for it, you can see what's about to go down, probably.
Okay.
So we've established that horses don't like Fitz. There's one horse that likes Fitz.
It's not mine.
Douglas.
Ever you have to go.
Maybe horses, I don't know. At least one. And I think he's like going to make that horse either buck or like go away, like run away and take Elise with it.
Interesting. Okay. I
would prefer one of those options, but I don't think it's what's going to happen.
So what I think I'm going to say, Fitz, is that fully getting Elise out of there is not possible. But you can intersperse yourself between them and Prince Reynard's body.
Oh, then yeah, Fitz is like football tackling in a way, just like scooping by the waist and moving as quickly away as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
I am considering a few options, but I think what I am going to have you do in this instance, and it's not quite the way this works, but I'm still going to have you do this. I think with that, you are going to burn one of the strings that you have on Elise. And you are also going to take a point of harm when Elise bites you instead of.
Is this happening in like not in front of an entire riding party?
Yes.
Okay.
You are getting Elise away from everyone, but as you do, Elise, you're hungry. You're hungry. And
we've established that it is much harder to ignore when spilled.
Okay, so yeah, I think I grab Elise and we're moving, and it's probably like off into the shrubbery or something. I don't know. Just to get them out of sight. And then, yeah, if Fitz gets bitten or torn apart, whatever, he doesn't care. He's a little more concerned about his friend right now.
Yeah,
I respect this.
Oh man, the Rammies. These are not the Rammies I was expecting, but they are Rammies nonetheless.
I'm your horse.
My horse?
No,
His
Douglas.
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 I left Douglas behind.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Oh,
That
right.
is
That's the Rammy. There's another Rammy.
That's the
correct.
Rammy.
Additional Grammys.
So I think since we're there, Lady Astrid, how good are you with horses?
Well, I'm quite all right with a horse. I'm known for riding well.
Good to know. He's going to hop off his horse. Dorian is going to hop off and hand over the reins. I'll leave this one in your very capable hands then.
Please take care while you investigate this scene. I need to get out of here immediately.
Of course. Go right ahead. I need to take care of Douglas before another body gets added to this.
Of
I'll
course.
be in touch.
Sir Black. And she like nods and then takes like the reins of the other horse and like off they trot.
And I'm gonna gotta go deal with Douglas. Get him out of the way. I guess I know we're in flashback, but yeah,
Yep.
you know, what are we doing if not going for it?
True.
What would you like to do?
So I have like things that I can do.
You do.
I do have things that I can do. All right, so like I don't know the specific power, but effectively, I want to sort of take on the sort of same aspect that Fitz has.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to take 2 seconds to think about that.
Okay. I mean, I am giving a string,
That
to
was going
nobody in particular.
That was going to be my question. Are you going to be given a string over? So if the answer is yes.
I've got to do Elsewise power effectively. So yeah.
I am very happy then to give that to you, Dorian.
Fantastic. It's fine.
We're just going to, clarify. That means you're up to 3 strings.
Correct.
Okay.
We're still in the safety zone, gang. It's
everything's fine. And so with that, what happens, Dorian, is you reach out to the power that you're connected to, effectively asking a favor. And it is immediately granted. There's no conversation. There's really no dialogue. You need something from them. They're willing to give it to you. And you, in that moment, maintain your same appearance and bearing. But to Douglas, you sound and look and move and smell like Fitz. Someone that he is familiar with and is the only person who can manage him. What do you do once Douglas is wrangled up?
We're going to get him out of the way. We are going to make sure that nobody is within biting or kicking range of him. And I assume there are people of the fake horse that are coming down to deal with this?
Yes, at this point, you can see a whole host of guards that are effectively closing off the scene around Prince Reynard's body, getting Princess Xavier out of there and to safety, and ensuring that all of those who were on this ride are heading back to the stables as what happened is being investigated.
Then I'm heading back to the stables. Mm-hmm.
And Astrid, you as well, we're heading back to the stables?
Yes, I'm absolutely heading directly to the stables. With not Alex's horse. with Finn's horse. That one.
Yeah.
Dorian's horse? Yeah.
Yes, with
all of
Dorian's
the
horse.
horses. Every horse. Every horse.
All
Just
your
got
horses
her.
belong to me.
It was like, I will call out as I'm going past. Fitz, I've got your horse.
Gerbark snarl.
I was going to say, I don't think you hear a response, except maybe.
Right. Wasn't expecting one. That's fine.
Incredible. Which does leave us with just Fitz and Elise in the bushes.
Sorry, what?
Ah!
Incredible kids.
I came prepared. Okay. But I cannot talk in those. And I probably can't talk right now at the moment. Got a bit busy.
Yeah. So, what exactly does this all look like?
Looks like a bush.
Correct. Not exactly the ness I was asking about.
That's fair. Is that a question for me or JD?
I'm willing to toss it over to you, Kit.
Oh man. I think it would be much more terrifying had this not almost happened before. But it is noticeably like the first time that Elise almost lost control was kind of like a slow descent into, like, there was time to course correct, to adjust. There is not that this time. It is like I think like the horse is walking, Fitz is walking, and it's I think Elise straight up jumps off the horse and is like going for the prince, and then when the prince is not there anymore, fine, you're right here, just munch chomp. And it's not cute, it's not pretty, it is like a starving animal. It's not good.
So
Just a little guy.
I think we have established that depending on the werewolf and vampire in question, that werewolves can be stronger than vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there's a lot of biting and probably other sort of attacks going on. And Fitz like gets Elise into the bushes, pins her up against a tree, and just like bites into his hand and puts it on their mouth.
And I mean, they do not have the current wherewithal to do anything but give into it, honestly. It was either that or she was going for your cravat. We love the cravat, so we would not want anything to happen to that. No, but that's, oh man. Yeah, no, that. Yeah.
So, and I think Fitz knows what the point of like, we're okay is, as this may or may not have happened before. So I think the hand is there until it's not necessary. Yeah, and then he's like pulling out a handkerchief and bandaging his hand to get it out of sight.
Oh, yeah. Like there is a point. It is, a good bit farther off than the last time. If, there was a last time, don't worry about it. But there is a point where they sort of like blink a little bit and then just like pull away, and like they're up against a tree, but they are trying to get as far away as possible, like trying to make themselves small, but there is a tree in the way and they can't, like they are just like trying to remove themselves from the situation and can't.
Fitz carries multiple handkerchiefs because a gentleman, And so he like pulls out another one, hands it to Elise, waits for them to take it, and then is like, "Are you okay? How are you feeling?"
I need to leave.
Okay, let's go.
Are you okay? Like just like 100% like wants to reach for his hand, but is restraining herself so much because that is they don't trust themselves at this point again.
Depending on how bad Fitz got bit, I'm sure there's some sort of tear or blood, and he's doing his best to cover it up and make sure that it's not visible, although there's probably a smell. So he's also distancing himself to make sure that Elise isn't overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah, she's got a handkerchief over the mouth, like.
Yeah. So Fitz is like, I'm going to go see what's going on. Take the time you need. I'll say that you were ill and overcome by the sight. It was awful. And there was awful. So I think people will understand. And I stay here and I will come back for you.
They do not. They just, nod and they don't speak. I do not know if they will stay, though.
Okay, well, Fitz is going to trust that they do, and if they don't, he will understand. But after that situation is handled, Fitz will go back to the stables and check in on, make sure that Douglas and Dorian and Astrid are okay.
And with that, we're going to jump back to the present.
Great. Cool.
There's so many Rammies that I'm legitimately having a hard time figuring out who I want to pan over to first. We will be coming back to you, Elise, of course, because the Rammies.
Roll a d4. Let fate.
Roll a d4. D4 for Rammies. Apply to Rammy modifier.
Interesting. Okay. Actually, ironically, with that is you, Elise. You are the first up. So I think it's
don't do me like this, JD.
I think it's, fair that we started with you reflecting on that moment where you bit Fitz in the woods.
Yeah.
Reflecting on other times you may or may not have bitten him. And thinking about a couple of nights that have happened recently out on the polo field and in the woods surrounding it. And I'm wondering, Elise, if I know you have at least one, but you may have a few letters to read. Is there one you would like to start off with that maybe would fit that particular memory coming up around the polo field?
The polo field? Yeah, there is. I'm going to say a couple. Let me see. So they've gotten a number of, I won't say letters, but notes over the past few days. Some letters too. But if I can find it, please. I swear I pinned this. There we go. So there was sort of a period where no real letters of note were sent, but there was little notes. There's a series of them, all from Fitz, and most of which like with a little trinket or some such thing attached. And yeah, the first one I think was just sort of a little note with a pressed red carnation in it, with just like a cute little note. And I quote, "Though its beauty is a mere echo of yours, still it is the loveliest thing I've seen today since I've not seen you, my heart." There is a day or so later, another note, which is more of a clipping from the paper, with there's some very foolish and pompous society scandal that none of us were involved in, and there's a drawing, a very unflattering caricature of Judge Nately, one of the polo judges they like to shit on all of the time, and written under it is written "Fie, 'tis the greatest foul, off the pitch with ye," just like a little goof. A day or so later, a small portrait arrives, like just a sketch, not like a fancy portrait, but it is a small sketch of Elise, of its own merit. Maybe not a finished piece, but it is sweet and endearing and fairly good. And there's a piece of poetry on the back. Midnight's velvet shroud conceals a roaring fire. My heart burns there for you. Very romantic, very cute. And then a couple days later, they get a box of pastries. Because Elise is a hoe for good bread, and that is facts. Just a little note. Benson sends her regards. Says she'll have the stalest bread you could want soon. These will have to tide you over. And so just a couple of little notes like that. There is a letter that comes a few days later, that is a proper letter, and it is one that they've kind of been ruminating on and not expecting in the slightest. If I may?
Please do.
Okay. My heart. All right. It is addressed to Smudge. There's a particular verse I can't get out of my head. Love saw a sailor as it walked along the water, and it spent a long time watching from its lonely wooden tower. When it knew for certain only drowning men could see it, it said all men will be sailors, and then until the seas release them. But I myself was broken long before the sea would open, uncaring, scarcely human. I sank beneath your beauty like a stone. I am locked away with too many questions and too few answers. I should be focusing on helping solve Renard's terrible murder, but my mind is trapped in a river of thoughts of you. I've never thought I could know what it would be to fill my lungs and heart to bursting and still desire only more. I understand the drowning author so enraptured by love as I can do nothing but give in and sink. I've drawn all the curtains in my office, for I find myself growing jealous of the sun. I am trapped here while he may wander as he wills, free to pour out honeyed light on your already radiant face, to caress your skin with his loving warmth. Even now, I can see you bathed in that gentle glow, and it takes everything in my power to remain at my wretched desk. I long to kiss your honey-touched skin, to taste the sweetness of your lips and your love again. Yours till the stones weep. And it is signed with an inside joke between the two of them, Capitan Catalani, which is the name of a very famous opera singer, that is sort of a goof that Elise is known to call him. And so she has been reading it and rereading it, and for a while not being able to bring herself to reread it, and then circling back on that. And just a vicious loop, but it is a lot. And none of it expected.
And with that, Elise, we are actually going, because it makes sense, to hand over to Fitz, who I will imagine is riding Douglas, who, of course, made it back to the stables safely and well in hand. Dorian handled that perfectly. Fitz, there's a few things we're going to need to talk about.
Are there? I don't think that's true. No. We can move over to Dorian or Astrid. That's fine. That's fine.
Take your Rammies, bud.
Take your Rammies.
You reaped.
Fine. All right. What are my Rammies, JD?
So there is a moment that you shared with Elise after you had sent that letter. A moment that you had, in fact, set up a few days before, that you were looking forward to sharing with her. However, The day before you were set to meet Elise for some friendly wood chopping.
Mm-hmm.
You felt something that you did not expect. Since the moment that you and Elise had shared that moment at the after party when they fed on you for the first time, you felt a connection between the two of you. That's been part of what keeps pulling you to Elise in these moments. And the day before you are set to meet her, you feel that link break.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that means. You know
Sure.
that means Elise has shared a moment of intimacy with another person.
Yeah, I mean, okay. And?
That's what we're going to find out in just a moment, because what I'm curious is, Elise, you are in fact summoned. You get an anonymous letter asking you to come down to the kitchens. And I would like Fitz to tell us what they find when they reach that location.
So to be clear, this happens after said broken link.
Mm-hmm. You set it up before, so I think the first question is, do you still show up?
Oh, of course I do.
Okay.
Yes. I think it's been a time for all of us, and Fitz is in a moment where he is being a little more understanding of things than maybe he was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So yes, he does absolutely show up.
And so what does Elise find when they arrive?
So there's like a little outdoor part of the kitchen that's like where all of the wood is stored. It's like a little wood shed and whatever. And as Elise comes out into this area, the first thing they'd probably notice is just the sharp chop of wood, just like in a very almost mechanical, like you can hear it far off, but as it gets closer, it's very clearly someone's chopping wood. And as you come outside, it's like sunny and lovely out, and Fitz is there, and he is stripped to the waist, just like, he's got a beard now, and you know why. His hair is a couple shades darker at the moment because he's very, very sweaty. And he is just chopping wood very, very mechanically. Chunk. Chunk.
This is an attack against me personally.
You're welcome.
How dare you post a Regency thirst trap? No. Listen, here's the thing. I don't think Elise knows.
I think that's fair. I don't think Elise realizes.
I don't think Elise knows enough about, or like has access to that, feeling. I don't think they know that anything has changed or been noticed by Fitz. I don't think they would have any reason to think so. So I think they are going about at this point as normal, which means we had a scheduled little wood chopping thing, just to have a fun little time, and no Rammies.
None. Zero Rammies.
Not a Rammy in sight, y'all. No, so Elise is just vibing, just a little guy. Dressed in working clothes, which is, this is the one excuse she gets to do it. So we're doing it. And I think they make a very big show of like they walk out and Fitz is shirtless and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like making a goof of it because like it ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing I've not seen before. Not Fitz, but it's like
but also Fitz.
But also Fitz. But also Fitz.
Yes.
Oh.
But also Fitz.
I will say he like plants the axe into the stump where, you put the logs. And when he turns around, he's just got this big old goofy smile on his face. And I don't know that you saw it in the moonlight, but there is a very clear scar on his side that looks like someone has carved the letter H into his stomach. And he just sort of like grins at Elise and is like, are you sure? Can you take a moment from your very incredibly artistic day for a poor Capitan?
I'm only full of regret I did not bring my sketchbook.
Well,
have an extract.
He first thing he does is he gestures over to the wood pile, the like chopped pile of wood, and he's like, I got you something. And there is a very long box. Like a very long box. I know, right?
For me.
And on top of the box, there is this like very ugly doll. It's of a very large cat, and it seems to have been made out of like pieces of fabric. And it's got a little cravat on it. And he's like hand embroidered on it, and it says Sir Reginald Mousington.
For a moment, Elise is like, dear God, what is that? And then they like get close enough to like see the like terribly embroidered letters, and they're just like losing their mind. Fully like unladylike, just doubled over, like why?
I thought you could use a little bit of home.
Oh, now I'm gonna cry. Okay. She picks it up, and I imagine picks it up and the head kind of flops.
Oh yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's really bad.
It's awful, and it's perfect because of that. No, they pick it up and it flops, and they're like, he's beautiful.
Fitz gives a very deep bow and says, thank you. I worked very hard on that, and I lost 2 uniforms to make it.
You didn't have to do that.
I didn't like him all that much. And then he gestures to the box, and he's like, may I open?
Be my guest, I suppose.
So he opens it up, and there's a splitting maul in there. Just like a very plain workman's axe.
Mm-hmm.
And he hands it to Elise, and he says, after the incident on the ride and some other conversations we've had, I thought it might be a good idea to teach you a little bit of my process.
Oh.
I know you're struggling with what is inside, with that hunger, and obviously I have that too. And the way I manage it is by building a cage in my head. A brick penitentiary that I do not let the wolf out of. And I do that by chopping wood. Every log is a brick in that wall. And sometimes it takes a lot of chopping to rebuild that wall. Sometimes it doesn't take much, but I found it very effective for creating that separation and making sure that the wolf does not come out.
And I am actually going to pause us right there, because when it comes time for you, Elise, to be reflecting on that cage for yourself next time, we're going to flash back to that lesson with Fitz.
Okay.
And so next, who gets the Rammies next? Astrid, I think we're going to pan over to the carriage that they are in. And I'm wondering if you might like to share some of the letters that Astrid received over this past week or so.
Yes, I've gotten quite a few letters this week, and I think the first, I believe I have like 4 now. So the first one I will share is actually this one that has at some point during the week arrived in a dark red envelope with the paper inside a crisp, clean white smelling faintly of magnolias. And the script is purposeful and neat in black ink. To the radiant Lady Astrid Primer. While I certainly understand and appreciate adhering to appropriate morning times, I would be a liar if I said that I have not thought about you every day since we last met. In my travel, sorry, I have to turn off the mountain goats. This is shit. Shut up, John Derniel. Okay. I would be a liar if I have not thought about you every day since we last met. In my travels, I've seen some horrors, and while this specific flavor was new, I know how difficult it is to see such things firsthand. I hope your family was there for you, giving support through such a difficult time. I certainly would have. Once things have gone back to what passes for normal here, I would very much like to try our hand at dinner. I've been spending a good bit of time exploring this fair city, and I believe I have found another of restaurants worthy of your presence. I look forward to hearing from you. Your obedient servant, Mr. Dorian Black. But then she also, she kind of takes that letter as she's in the carriage and then replaces it with one behind it. One that came one morning, a familiar black chuff. Did we determine it was chuff?
Yes.
Tapped on my window, and it left me a small cluster of daffodils and violets for friendship, along with a letter sealed with the Carewood crest. My gracious friend Astrid, my apologies for not writing sooner. I hope Wynne and my letter find you safe. The dreadful affair with the prince has kept my family busy, and your kind letter has been a balm to my heart during these stressful days. Thank you for your support. Forging one's own path is never easy, especially when every step I take makes things worse. But I would still rather this than the road my father and the prince made for me. I have no intention of being a bargaining chip, as you so succinctly put it. I confess only a small part of me mourns the prince. I ended the engagement months ago and came to terms with it, but there were still happier times we'd shared. The main source of my sorrow was the abrupt ending of a new courtship after merely a week. I put too much hope on this romance and those sweet words of love. A newly bloomed flower can wither quickly without the right care. Enough of my own troubles. There are more insidious machinations at work this season. The prince's murder paints a target on those infernal members of society and those who are eager for the bloodshed a war with hell would bring. I hope the seneschal will be distracted enough with this affair to cease bothering you. Tread carefully, my friend. We don't know who else this killer may target before the season ends. The murder could be a means to war or part of some more elaborate ritual. When this dreadful business is done, we should plan a nice outing, like a picnic in the park. You and I deserve more joys than we've been given. Be safe, my friend. I'm only a letter away. Warm regards, your friend, Lady Rhiannon Carewood. And one small letter, one small piece of cream-colored paper is behind that one with black ink and script. It does have the envelope that this very terse letter came in, carried the faint outline of Princess Xavier's seal. But the letter simply says, "Do not trust Dorian Black." There is no further elaboration, and it does seem that while there is the faint outline of the seal, there has been almost an attempt to hide the fact that this letter came from Princess Xavier. In the most recent letter, the letter that came this morning, the letter that has caused Astrid's mind to race as quickly as she departed from the scene of the murder with the other horse, the letter that has caused such consternation in just a few short hours that it's really causing her mind to turn and churn in ways that she hadn't anticipated. And this letter arrives in an envelope that is a midnight blue, and the ink that adorns it is gold, with Miss Astrid Primer inscribed on the front. And I recognize the handwriting belonging to Seneschal Julius Shaw. The envelope carried the imprint of the royal seal, the House Montgomery crest, a hoof print, and a phoenix as the components of the image. And JD, I'm taking directly from your words. I hope that's okay. Mm-hmm. The letter itself is on a piece of paper that is crisp and clean, of high quality but simple in hue, a straightforward cream color. The ink is black and clearly etched onto the page, and the letter reads, "My dearest Astrid," which is then crossed out, but you can still tell that it's there, that you can see on the other side that the words are still imprinted. "Dear Miss Primer, I have no doubt that you did not wish to hear from me. You made that abundantly clear at the opening ball of the season. Therefore, I apologize for treading on the line you have drawn in the sand, and if this were not urgent, I would not be sending this letter to you. However, I still care for you enough. Indeed, I never stopped caring to write to express my concern. Seeing you with the American, Mr. Dorian Black, worries me. I know I am no longer in a place to have that concern for your well-being, but I do. Little is known about him, and I have reservations about the company he keeps. I wish there was something I could clearly direct your attention to as a way of demonstrating the reason for my concern, but that is information I do not fully have yet. I do not want any harm to befall you, and I ask of you, truly beg of you, to be mindful in your interactions with him. I know you no longer trust me. I wish I could have explained myself and my actions more fully, but you had already made your decision based on what you had seen and heard. I do not begrudge your choice, and truly, you are not wrong. I am not worthy of you, and you deserve someone who is as good and pure as you are, and that cannot be me. But I do not believe that it is Mr. Dorian Black either. That is all I can say for now. I hope you will heed my warning. I wish you the best, Astrid, with all my heart, which still belongs to you, and always will." And then it is simply signed, Julius.
And Astrid, as you are holding those letters in your hand and thinking back to your engagement with Julia Shaw, you can't help but think about what led you to end that relationship with him. There are a few moments that are very much forefront of your mind. But the biggest is the time that you knew that he was going to be sitting down with the high priest of the infernal church, Father Ashley Donovan. And you've heard what happens with the infernal church. You've heard what they preach. And well, Julius tried to explain to you that it was part of politics. It was part of maintaining alliances and relationships. The fact that he would be willing to take a meeting with a person like that and perhaps forge an alliance with that person told you things about his character.
He's not the man that I loved. Or thought I loved. He's power hungry. He has no true devotion to his community and to the people that he claims to care about as he preaches every week. No, instead, he just wants to use any means necessary to strengthen his grasp. And Astrid can't abide by that. So she sits in this carriage, adorned in black in mourning of the fallen prince, But really, she's mourning. Really, she's mourning the hull that is left of her heart.
And as we leave Astrid sitting there in those emotions, perhaps also remembering that one of the hardest parts of this was that while Julius begged Astrid to not end the engagement, she could see in his eyes that he understood. And she could see in his eyes that he loved her, but he didn't love her enough to step away from what he said was his duty.
And she was going to name their first child Rami.
How dare you?
As she should have. As she should have.
Physically?
Yeah, I'm about to start crying. But I had to break the tension.
Emotional whiplash has caused physical tears. I need you to know this. Damn. Okay.
That was incredible, Amber. And so we are going to pan away from Astrid and give them the space to sit with those emotions and with the knowledge that you will be seeing Mr. Dorian Black this very evening. And that is who we are going to pan over to now.
All this Dorian Black slander. I don't stand for it.
And so, Dorian, I'm going to actually give you a choice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
I know you have at least one letter to read. Mm-hmm. And I know there was also a conversation that you wanted to have. And so I am curious if you have a preference for where we start, whether it is with that conversation or with a letter or two.
I have the letters, and I've got an order for them, and then the conversation, if that's all right with you.
I respect that wholeheartedly. Please go for it, Q.
All righty. This is fine, actually. I have, in fact, done nothing wrong, and will continue to do nothing wrong throughout these last 9 days. Early one morning, a black chuff lands on Dorian's windowsill, and it carries a small letter sealed with the Carrowood family crest in deep green wax. It leaves it on the windowsill and flies off. Inside the letter, vines border the edges of the high-quality paper. With the letter is a small yellow rose for friendship. To the estimable Mr. Black, what a dreadful start to your first season in London. Hope you are well and that such a brutal act has not ruined your stay in our city. Given what has occurred with the late Prince and Captain de Villiers' change of heart, I fear I must postpone our outing to one of the many art galleries, as we had discussed during the after party. My sincerest apologies, but the season is long, and I hope my spirits will improve before its end. The days can be dull without your charm. May the rest of the season show you more warmth than this past week. Sincerely, Lady Rhiannon Carewood. That letter was, of course, left at home with the flower that was presented to him. Dorian is currently in his office because, he's a businessman, so he has those. He is currently staring at a very plain letter, which reads very short and very simple. Clearly, you've been busy. Perhaps when it is convenient, you can find the time to tell me what it is you're doing. I wait with bated breath. And then it says, until it burns, A at the bottom. But it looks as if maybe it was like she started to write it, then tried to blot it out, and then decided to write it again. Dorian tucks that away because he is currently in his office for another reason. His sleeves are rolled up. He is standing in front of a full-length mirror, and he's got a dagger in his hand, which he runs across his own arm, or actually the palm.
Yeah, no self-harm.
Oh, apologies. My beesies. My bad. He marks the mirror in a sigil that is familiar to those that know the Infernal. As he finishes the circle, it begins to glow and smoke, and his image disappears from the mirror, and something else appears on the other side of it.
Something else does appear on the other side of it. The mirror is dark and shadowed. The edges are wreathed in flame. And in the center is a tall figure who seems almost made of shadows, even though they are standing in the midst of what seems like an endless void. Their outline is still clear. There are horns stretching from the top of their head. And they just stare at you for a long moment before simply asking in a voice that is deep and dark. Yes.
It's just us. You can drop the theatrics now.
And the void around the figure does not soften. It remains there, but the figure themselves grows smaller, more humanish. And in just a few moments, standing before you in that mirror is Abraham Donatelli. And he just raises an eyebrow at you and says, "You say that I brought the theatrics. What do you call what you just did there to summon me?"
The quickest way for me to get in touch with you that wouldn't involve me going to your home. You wanted me to stay separate. I'm staying separate. Now, please tell me that you know anything that's going on in this city.
That is a fairly tall order. I know many things that are happening in this city.
Let's start
would
with
you
the
care
dead
to be more
prince.
specific?
Sure, the dead prince.
He is dead. He was sacrificed.
Mm-hmm. And it appears to be infernal in nature. So I'm merely curious. Did we actually do that? Or are we being set up?
You say we as though you would have had a hand in it. My business is my business.
There are only so many strings that people have to pull before they realize that we're connected, you and I. So unless you'd like to let go of those connections, I'm involved, sir.
Sorry, I'm just watching Amber and Kit both lose it.
I would like it to be known that I am unwell.
It's fair. Your business is my business as long as my head is on the chopping block.
As you said, our relationship is not known for that very reason. Your head is not at risk at this moment. I will tell you if the time comes when your head is on the chopping block.
So I just get to wait in suspense then. Wonderful.
What would you do, Mr. Black, if you knew who was involved?
I need to do some things. I don't know. Let's see.
What would you like to do?
Things. I would like to figure out what's going on in him head. I'm trying to catch the vibes, if you will.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think what I'm going to have you do is roll with dark.
Okay. All right. How are we with that? Dark. Very good. We're very good with dark. All right. Now let's see if the dice believe that. They do. They believe that wholeheartedly. That is a 12.
Holy shit. All right.
I soaked up apparently all the good luck from earlier with the Urban Shadows rolls.
All of those failed rolls granted you that.
This is what I get for Snake Eyes at the start of the show, and I'm okay with this.
Absolutely.
Gift to you.
What question specifically are you wanting to ask here, Q?
Okay. Does Abraham actually know, or is he bullshitting me?
What happens as you're pondering this, Dorian? You're staring at Abraham, and you're, I would imagine, although your eyes are your eyes currently covered by sunglasses?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They always are, unless, special things.
Your eyes are meeting his like dead on. And you can see his eyes through his own glasses. And you almost get a feeling as though you're falling into them. Like there is a sudden sensation of vertigo. And it isn't that you see anything. This isn't like when you gaze into the abyss and actually see a clear image. But you feel what he is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that does tell you he knows who is responsible. In fact, on a 12, you are fairly certain he is not the one who's responsible, but he is aware of who that person may be.
All right. Well, it wasn't you. I didn't figure you'd be that stupid.
That was, ironically, what I said to Abigail as well. I am glad that you reached the same conclusion, though I'm not sure that she did.
I think you don't give her enough credit. However, if both of us are asking, perhaps, we should be more forthcoming with information. Because she's for sure on the chopping block if things go down. Being, your daughter and all.
I was about to say, Mr. Black, wouldn't you think I would have a bit more respect for my own daughter?
Honestly, most days it's hard to tell. No offense.
None taken.
But now, would you like me to look into this?
I think with the company that you keep, it would not be remiss of you to keep an eye on that housemate of yours.
Captain DeVilliers.
Indeed.
Good to know. Anything else of use for me?
I will tell you when I have use for you, Mr. Black.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am sure you are, and I am also sure you will come to me again if you need another favor.
Maybe at least one more.
Only one. That's what they always say.
You have a good day, Abraham.
You have a good day yourself, Mr. Black, and certainly do let me know if your head is on the chopping block. There are a few favors that you can cash in.
Of course. And Dorian is going to splash water on the mirror to wash away the blood and end the conversation. He's going to look at himself, see that there's not that is perfectly fine. Bit of blood, but nothing wrong with him.
And I think that is where we are going to take our break.
Don't do this to me, JD.
The Rammies are coming home to roost.
The Rammies are so coming home to roost.
Fuck y'all.
Absolutely.
Rammies on Rammies. Always has been.
There are going to be a ton of Rammies, but you all are going to a dinner party and it's going to be fine. You're going to have so much fun. I'm so excited for the four of you. There will be absolutely no Rammies at the dinner party. It'll be a good time.
For real, for real? Sure.
We'll find out when we come back in 10 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Hello, everyone. We are back. I hope you all took a break. We all stepped away, took some time, also did safety check-ins and everything else to make sure everyone was good after some of the intensity of the first half. And now we're jumping into the Rammies of the second half.
That wasn't the Rammies?
Those were some of the Rammies. It's fine. I listen, I don't know what you're worried about. It's fine. Everything's
You know exactly
fine.
what I'm worried about.
JD,
that's
stop lying.
I mean, what could you be worried about? A second murder?
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're legitimately worried about that right now.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, I might commit one. That's a joke for legal purposes.
Listen, I am sure it's going to be fine. I am
Hey, y'all want good
110%
news?
sure.
Yeah.
The
What's
leader
that?
of the KKK died.
Hey!
That
Yo.
is good news.
Rock.
Can we all get less Rammies because of that?
Yeah.
Because that feels like a justified Rammy, but like, do the
You know
Rammies
what?
need to happen in this stream?
He fucked around and he found out by
It's
dying.
true.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm going to take that under advisement. There's been a lot of Rammies already.
Thank you. Thank you.
There were a
So
lot
maybe there will be
Grammys.
I
less
have to stress
Rammies.
again. Y'all have to make me stop doing spit takes. I'm in a white dress.
You won't be needing a white dress much longer. What? You okay?
Yeah.
This has been a time, and it is going to continue to be a time. But you're going to a very lovely dinner party, and I'm very excited for all four of you. I am curious, as we're moving towards the Connolly's estate, what the conversation between Fitz and Dorian, who presumably are riding side by side, as Fitz, you would be on Douglas, and Dorian, you have a new horse that you obtained. A horse that you were riding on that very unfortunate day when Prince Reynard's body was found in the woods. A fey mount, in fact.
Yes. A summer mount.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a summer night. Haven't come with a name yet, but we're happy. I think Dorian is going to look over at Fitz and just go, well, I certainly hope that this event is less eventful than the last.
Fitz looks over and gives a little chuckle. It's like, I've typically found the dinners here can be murder, but only because they're very, very dull.
Well, thank goodness for small favors.
Fitz goes back to pleasantly riding.
A question, though, because I truly expected to hear something. Did we ever get word back from the Winter Court? I realize now the letter might have been in poor taste, but I was unaware that Prince Reynard had gone missing and was being used for, ritual sacrifice.
I think when you ask that question, you see Fitz sort of tense, and he looks over at you, and he's got very, very blue eyes, and he does a slow blink, and when he opens them again, they are different. Maybe it's the fact that JD, it's like darkish, right? Like we're getting on in the evening.
It's like dusk, so it's not that dark.
Okay, but there's still, maybe it's just the difference of the light, but there is something different in his eyes, and he gives you a very slow smile. And he says, no, we aren't going to be getting a response back.
Oh. And why is that?
Well, typically for responses, the letters need to be received.
Well, again, thank goodness for small favors. clearly you had an insight that I was lacking. So
I wouldn't call it insight.
mm-hmm.
I think, it's really very pathetic the way that I dote on you. Even after I found out exactly what you've been up to, I still wanted to protect you.
Huh.
And Fitz moves Douglas in very close. And so, like, he and Dorian are riding thigh to thigh.
And what exactly?
And he's like, what happened between Mr. Deloso and there's a pause, me, was not something that I told anyone but you. And somehow, Abigail asked me about it. Now, isn't that funny? I don't like people sharing my business, Dorian. I don't like it at all.
I see. Well, you seem to know, yet you still protected me.
Yes, I'm stupidly fond of you.
Hmm.
I don't know how far out I'm going to stick my neck out, but I'll tell you, I think I might have done it for the last time. And then he blinks again, and those very blue eyes are back, and he looks a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
He looks down, he's,
What is happening?
I appreciate that your horse doesn't seem to make Douglas so upset. That's lovely.
It's why I was so hell-bent on purchasing it.
I think Fitz is skilled enough a rider that he can just like let Douglas do his thing. So like, we're close enough. He just claps a hand on Dorian's shoulder and he's like, it's a fine horse. You made a good choice. And then sort of confused, like pulls Douglas a little bit away.
So, Fitz, in this moment, I'm actually going to ask you about one specific letter that you received.
Just one specific letter that I received?
Just
Great.
the one
Yeah.
for this exact moment. I am going to say that, well, your memory of the last few moments may be a little bit murky. Carmen is standing out to you as someone that you are now thinking of.
Yes.
Particularly the letter that you just received from him.
What the fuck? Oh, I thought I was muted.
That was a completely valid response, though, Amber.
You're so little for that.
Same.
You are
Amber,
so
big
valid.
same.
You were saying what we were all thinking, girl. Like,
So you are referring to the random scrap of paper that was just lying on my foyer floor?
If that was how it was delivered, yes, I would love to hear it.
Okay. So I think this is a thing Fitz noticed and picked up and sort of read while he was getting Douglas ready. And it is a tightly folded parchment with an emerald wax seal that was literally just laying in the middle of the floor of the house.
Incredible.
And-
Also, hello to our raiders. Thank you for joining
Hello.
us.
So the letter reads, Captain, you ask of me an impossible task. I owe my entire existence to my brother. He is no monster. His is a story of survival. I will admit that I did not plan on attacking you that night. However, I must do what I can to keep my brother fed. You tell me to control myself, but my control comes from keeping Damien happy, not starving him. What you witnessed was the breaking of a dangerously drawn-out fast. It is your own choice to suffocate yourself, just as it is mine to breathe. That being said, I do heed your words. My plan was never to harm Rhiannon. They are the possessor of my unbeating heart, and the only person I would gladly devour the world for, should she ask it of me. As for our friendship, your promise of fireworks intrigues me. I will not prod as to why you seek answers about the night of our slaughter, but I am willing to join forces to find the truth. There is a part of me that hopes Damien may find peace once this business is done. The ache for justice is a pain I hunger to satiate, for his sake. And mine. So, as a fellow investigator and friend, I confide in you what I've learned. Abigail's father, Abraham, had a part to play in that night, perhaps even Abigail herself, although I'm not sure she has a memory of it. I witnessed it from within her. There was fire and blood and the smell of sulfur. And before you chastise me, she has no soul for Damien to feed on. Surprisingly, she has agreed to help. Though I do not trust her completely, her motives seem united with ours. At least for now. We shall speak again soon. Your loving friend and handsome foe, Carmen.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Fitz has some thoughts on that, but those are going to have to wait for office hours, I think.
That is fair. That is 100% fair.
Because the Deloso file is about to get bigger. Much bigger.
Cannot wait to see where that particular mystery goes. And so, with that, the four of you, en route to the Conley's estate, begin to make your arrival one by one. You are aware of the other guests who will be in attendance. In particular, you are aware that you four are the only who have been invited to this particular gathering. And there could be a variety of reasons for that. For instance, Dorian, of course, already has a connection to the Connolly family. They did introduce him to high society.
Miss Scusi, Miss Scusi, just so that I'm clear, you said we're the only ones invited?
You are the only ones invited. It will be the four of you.
Don't like it.
Oh, so we're dying.
Like tonight.
Like right now.
Listen, I promised right as we started this half of the stream that I would consider reducing the Rammies. And if the Rammies were murder, that's going to be off the table. Your murder, at least. It's fine.
How dare you?
Fine.
I don't trust it. How could you, also?
JD, I'm just a pious unicorn.
I know.
But she's just a sweet lady.
I'm just a little guy. I do not know why all the hostility.
Yeah.
I'm just a dude just trying to live. You know, no thoughts, just vibes.
I will pay channel points for more Rammies.
Yeah, you got anything to say for yourself, Fitz? Everybody else is making an impassioned plea.
I mean, I have sowed quite a bit, and therefore I shall reap all the Rammies, I assume. So, you know what? I'm fine. I assume Fitz is going to die, and that's fine. So let's do it.
Listen, Alex.
This
is not Call of Cthulhu. This is not Call of Cthulhu. You all will be fine.
Okay,
the last
but just so you know, for every Rammy, I'm making a note for Changeling. Just so you know.
You know what? That's
we got inter-GM fighting.
That's rude.
That's
DM on
fair.
DM violence.
The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting.
Alex,
Babe, I got your flower.
I'm also in that. We can't be doing that.
No. I just for JD.
I got it.
You are perfect, and I love you, so no problems.
Yep.
Everything will be fine for you. Anyway, let us to the Rammies, because let's do it.
Onward to Rammies.
You all are making so many rash judgments about the Rammies that might be coming your way. It's fine. You're just going to the Connolly estate, and it is a beautiful estate. Some of you have been there before. Some of you have not. This is your first time, Elise in particular. This would be brand new to you. This would not be brand new to Dorian, probably not to Fitz, and not to Astrid either, because they have been out for several seasons, and it is not uncommon for the Connollys to offer a variety of events, whether it is dinners like this, whether it is tea parties like that the first table attended. This is just something that they do as one of the more prominent families in society. And so you reach their 150-acre plot of land. It was, as described at the first session, originally the site of a medieval abbey, and that abbey is still on the premises. It is not, of course, where you are staying, since the abbey is closed and is in ruins, but they are located not that far from the main house in case any of you decide that you might want to go exploring. I don't know what you may get up to during this particular dinner event. There are, of course, numerous wooded areas on this 150-acre plot, but the house itself has a large garden with a hedge maze behind it. Right now, that garden is fairly empty. Previously, it had been set up for the event of the tea party, but that is all packed away. It is just open grass. And the stone, the house itself is made of stone. It is very large and spread out across a number of acres itself. And the Connolly family is standing there, ready and waiting for your arrival. The Duke and Duchess are there. They are wearing a respectable amount of black, enough to show that they are acknowledging the recent loss, but not grieving in the same way that, say, any of the fairy court members would be. Isaac, of course, has not been seen out of funeral black since the murder of Damien at the end of last season, and he is wearing that as well. And the three stand there, waiting for you to arrive, ready to greet you.
Well, unless anybody had a particular reason why they should be there first, I'm glad to take it. Okay. Dorian will stride up. Pleasant smiles, the charm and variety as he greets the family. Definitely very familiar and comfortable.
And they greet you with neutrality, I would not say with warmth, but with respect would maybe be a better way of describing it.
Interesting.
Which I will say is not dissimilar from the way that they typically have interacted with you during those previous encounters.
Gotcha.
What?
It's just, say hi, make sure to say hello to Isaac, and then let's move out of the way.
And there are already servants coming, some of the stable hands arriving to take your horse, if you allow them, Dorian. I am going to assume, once again, Fitz does not allow anybody else to handle Douglas, and therefore may not be the second person who says hello, given that he will need to escort Douglas to the stables first.
Mm-hmm.
Doug and I have stables business.
Yeah, give the horse.
And you are, of course, assured that your horse will be well taken care of. Similarly, for Elise and Astrid, as they arrive, when you are greeted and offered a hand down from the carriage by one of the servants, it is made clear that your horses will be well cared for and your carriages will be ready to go when the evening ends. And you are each, everybody is treating you with that respect and warmth. And not necessarily the Connollys showing that respect to the degree that they've shown that to Dorian, but everybody is very polite and pleasant. And so I'm curious, between Elise and Astrid, who steps up next?
I think it would be Astrid, just wanting to show her chin held high. And I think... Ray, did you... Hold on.
No worries.
Okay. That's what your character does?
Incredible.
Okay. Good girl. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I mean, given all of the letters that Astrid has received over the course of the past couple days, there's a lot of them on their mind right now. And they haven't decided if they're going to write Dorian off entirely, but she's not happy to hear that two she kind of a little bit dismisses Julian's warnings, just because, of course, why, but the princess has really no reason to, no ulterior motives the way that Julian would. So it does give Astrid a little bit of pause, because they don't want to have what remains of their heart shattered.
And so with that, Astrid, as you are the second to arrive, as the Connollys gesture for you to step inside, you do find yourself not alone with Mr. Dorian Black, because of course there are servants there. We need to have propriety. But the two of you are in the same space at the same time for the first time since you received those letters.
Mr. Black, it's a pleasure to see you again. I'm so sorry for my disappearance for the past several days. I'm sure you understand, with everything going on, it's been difficult to make it out into the world.
Of course. I understand. It's been a hectic and a very trying time.
How are you faring?
It's been interesting, to say the least. Not how I was expecting my first season in a new place to go, but I will say it's certainly been entertaining, which sounds bad, but I'll say there has not been a dull moment.
Well, when you're in court, there never seems to be.
Certainly. And how have you been?
I'm on this side of the ground, and that's all that matters. Oh, and my compatriot also agrees.
As well they should. Did you have time to consider my letter?
I have had time to consider it, and it was very kind of you to check in on me, and I regret that I haven't had the time to send one back in kind. It's just, with... She hesitates, bringing one black gloved hand to her mouth as she considers if she should lie or tell the truth. Lying's not really a thing that exists in her moral code. So, but ultimately she decides to tell the truth, a truth. With all of the recent murders and everything over the past several seasons, of course, my parents are very concerned of something happening. So I am only allowed out right now for official season business. I'm sure you understand.
Absolutely. And I'm an unknown. So even more danger. I understand.
Once we get to the bottom of this, though, I'm sure we will have dinner again. Because it was nice dancing with you and seeing your face in the candlelight, illuminated.
I will. Remember your beauty as we
You glow
danced.
radiantly.
I was merely shining from your light. I'm only a letter away if you ever need anything.
Of course. I appreciate your availability.
Of course.
Now let's get this dinner taken care of, shall we?
Certainly. I'm worried. Generally, there'd be more people here by now.
I mean, did you not come with Fitz? You two seem to be attached at the thigh.
Well, some days. He's here. He's putting Douglas away. But that's still 3.
Well, surely Lady Elise will be around shortly.
That's 4. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're quite proficient in math, but it's strange for one of these events. No, just 4 people and the host.
I'm not sure. Actually, JD, would similar events have happened in where it's really small quarters?
They're certainly rare, but they're not completely unheard of. It's usually 1 or 2 events at most a season that would have this few people. Most would have at least 10 to 20.
Okay. Her eyes dart off to the side as she's recalling memories of past seasons and hearing the titter and gossip from people who have attended events like these. Of course, this is the second time that she's been invited to anything. The first being the ill-fated horse ride.
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, I do have a brother who last season was invited to one of these smaller affairs. So they happen, just not too common."
Good to know. Then you should have nothing to worry about. And he'll offer his arm.
She hesitates again, not sure if it's who would be watching her here. I apologize. It actually might be a little bit too crass for me to touch another person while we're in active mourning. I do apologize if the circumstances were different.
No apologies necessary. Thank you for letting me know. I'm still learning, of course.
Of course, you're doing a wonderful job, Mr. Black. You're a fast learner.
Still room for improvement, but we'll get there eventually.
We do love a eternal student.
Certainly. Got all the time in the world.
And with that, we pan away from the foyer and the two of you and go to outside where Fitz and Elise, your paths pretty much cross as you are both arriving from different directions. Fitz, you from the stables, you, of course, from the entrance to the estate, Elise.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Thank you for the raid. We are having a lovely dinner party. It is a great time. Everything is fine.
Just in time for the Rammies.
Just in time for the Rammies. Please enjoy. This is our Regency Monsterhearts game, and things have been getting pretty steamy.
A feast of Rammies for you.
And so you, Fitz, and you, Elise, both kind of reach the entrance at just about the same time, where, of course, the Connollys are still there, waiting ostensibly for the two of you, as you are the only four invited.
Well, Fitz will indicate that Elise should proceed and speak to the Connollys, because that is proper.
Are any of us chaperoned?
Yes. You would have had your maid come along with you.
Okay. That's better than I was expecting. Elise will, take the go ahead, and do the proper, appropriate, the bows, the curtsies, the, thank you for the invitation, etc. On their best behavior.
I will say, as you greet the Connollys, they, of course, greet you in kind, although the Duchess then says, Miss Clarendon, we were so eager to properly make your acquaintance. After all, you drew so much attention during the opening of this year's season, and we thought it was only proper that we invite you to get to know you a bit more.
Plastered pleasant smile. Just clearly just, Well, I should hope I do not disappoint. Thank you again for the invitation.
And the Duke gestures for you to step inside.
Just like, yes, pleasant run. Just like looking back, like at Fitz, like, I got it.
Oh yes, eyes, go, do.
And, they greet you as well. A few comments are made about your distinguished military career, and that it is an honor to have you dining at their table.
The pleasure is all mine. I look forward to it.
And so the four of you are now inside. The Connollys do step in after you, Fitz. The doors shut behind them. And the Duke says, we thought before the meal, as everything is being prepared, the four of you could take some time, chaperoned, of course, to either enjoy the gardens or step into the study. We do have refreshments available.
I think Fitz will look over at Dorian and sort of like eyes, like, are you going there or are you going there?
And he'll motion towards the study.
I think Fitz will pass by Elise and just say, under his breath, and like quieter than human ears could hear, but he knows that Elise ears can hear it. And he'll just say, garden, 5 minutes.
She simply nods.
But then Fitz is going to go into the study and have a little drinky poo with Dorian, hopefully.
All right, I have to pay attention to the chat, and the chat is Will demanding that a letter is read. I know we've covered a couple of them, but raise your hand if you have a Will letter that has not been read yet.
Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Will.
Beautiful. You know what? I think we're gonna go with you first, Elise.
This is fine. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay. All right. We're just doing it. We're just doing it. We're just doing the day.
It.
Okay. All right.
We're doing it. I think as you're walking through the estate, thinking about stepping outside for a few moments to connect with Fitz. Yes, that is the word we're using. Connect.
Bold choice.
This letter is on your mind.
Yeah, I think it is. And Elise did receive a few days after the party a letter that she was not expecting. I don't know that. I think they may have made introductions at best. So she was not expecting any sort of letter from this individual. But it was delivered by a very disconcerting and glassy-eyed servant. It was rather unsettling for Elise for a number of reasons. And it honestly resembles more of a roll of parchment, which was kind of funny to them until they opened it and read it. And then it was tied with a rose and bears a black wax seal inlaid with the image of a large iron gate. And it is written in red ink on the nose. Dear Miss Clarendon, I hope my letter finds you well and does not take you too much by surprise. Mission failed. I seek the introduction we scarce had time for during good Captain de Villiers' after-party. I cannot help but take note we two are of the same cloth, if you'll forgive my boldness. We are out of place here, ornaments that they are content to gaze upon, but not to remove from our decadent packaging. I glitter quite prettily in the darkness, Miss Clarendon, but I see you are different. You shy away from the light, yet you do not embrace the dark. This being the case, I wonder, have you ever truly been seen? I apologize, the poetry of my native tongue takes hold sometimes. Perhaps receiving a letter so overwrought as this will not earn me any favor with you, and I apologize if that is so. However, if not, I would like to speak to you further about commissioning a portrait from your very skilled hand. And perhaps in the process, we could see each other just a bit better. Your admirer in darkness, Abigail Donatelli. They were not expecting to get a letter from her, so I don't think they knew how to really react. They have not had time to respond to it yet. Just sort of, mulling it over. Yeah, it's fine.
Q, you are muted.
It was spicy. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Just a normal, regular letter. Just one girl boss to another.
I think it's fine. I think everything is fine, and I just want all four of you to remember that. Everything's
it's simply
fine.
a commission, nothing untoward here.
And what about you, Fitz?
So I think Fitz is having a drink with Dorian just to keep up appearances. Like, we are roommates and friends, so we're gonna schmooze a little bit. But he's wanting to get out to the garden. But because he's talking to Dorian, I assume that that's why he's thinking of this letter from Abigail.
I think that makes sense.
So the letter comes in a nondescript sealed envelope lacking any sort of flair or indicator where it came from. It was not delivered. Fitz was merely going through an old book that he of poetry that he enjoys, and it was just there in the book. On plain paper, it reads, Fitzgerald, you put so much of yourself down on these pages, Captain. See to it that you don't give up too much of yourself. Liars, such as we two, are quick to lose the plot when we forget ourselves. It's not a dance where you can afford to miss a step, lest you learn that there is no floor beneath your feet. Your honesty is noted. While no one is pleased to learn that they have been played, I recognize and applaud you for your skill. I can confess I had not expected someone with your station or background to be quite so skilled at it. I'm not often fooled, Captain de Villiers. Perhaps we will make a courtier of you yet. So now, here we stand, naked, with wavering daggers poised over each other's hearts, waiting for the other to strike first. I propose a different option. To break the cycle, to find worthier sheaths for our blades. If you truly wish to cast off the shackles that this city and your comfortable life have hung around your neck, I am happy to speak of many things, chief among them, fathers. Take off the mask and let us speak, Fitzgerald. I have seen what lies beneath. You are not so tame as the world believes, and I have a fondness for wild things. A.
I just want to talk.
So there's some inner turmoil on that, but really not as much as I would expect, or one would normally expect Fitz to have. He has a more different North Star at the moment that is guiding him, and though he is intrigued by this, he's more concerned about the relationship that Dorian and Abigail have, because he doesn't like being a pawn. He's been a pawn for a lot of his life, and he feels like he's on the board again, and it's making him very, very anxious and nervous and upset. So while the letter is not, he wasn't expecting a letter, so the forgiveness and sort of understanding in it is comforting in a way. There's still this like niggling sort of, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't care for it.
And well, you and Dorian are sharing a drink in the study. Where do we find Astrid and Elise?
I'll defer to you.
Fuck, but I was gonna defer to you.
Oh man, we're out here deferring.
Is there a different room?
I was going to say I do have a piece at play that I may throw into the room, which is that, well,
that's fair.
The Duke and Duchess have stepped away ostensibly to ensure that final touches are ready for the meal. Isaac Connolly, Lord Isaac Connolly, remains in the foyer with the two of you, and your chaperone, of course, Elise, so that it is not just the three of you alone.
I think it would only be polite to make conversation. The polite, the pleasantries, the introductions, the deep bows, etc.
Isaac pretty much immediately says, "Oh, none of that is necessary. Please, please."
Much smaller nod. Very, very well then. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. I apologize that it was not sooner.
Yes, of course. It's wonderful to be in your presence. A true honor. I hope you have been having, all things considered, a eventful social season.
And you see that he looks sad in response to that and says, I wish I could say that I were, but to be frank, if I may be frank, it would have been my preference to not be out this season.
Understood. I do apologize for your loss and hope that their memory is truly a blessing to you and those you love.
He looks genuinely touched at that, Astrid. You almost get the sense that if anyone has even bothered to say those words to him, they never said it with the sincerity that you just did. And he just nods to you and says, thank you. That is truly kind.
Of course.
If I may be so bold, would you be interested in taking a walk with me, Lady Primer?
Oh, I cannot leave. I cannot leave Miss Clarendon alone.
Oh, I
You
will not be
see.
alone. My nuts. I will be fine.
Ray is now barking at apparently Astrid getting asked out. Bark, 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 bark.
Elise is like in Astrid's court, like 100%. Like, get it, girl. I got your flower. Let's go.
No,
I will make myself scarce. Excellent.
It's just Amber being like, I hate the spotlight on me, please.
Elise also has a prior engagement to attend to in a few moments. So Elise is very totally fine to let them go do what they will.
At least I promise we will catch up later. I feel like I haven't had enough time with you this season.
Oh, we will have plenty of time. Please go and enjoy the gardens. I will see you at dinner.
Of course. We will sup soon.
And so Isaac does offer you his arm, but it is clearly in a way where it is not a demand. It is, I am offering this, but if you decline, that is perfectly fine. And I will say, Astrid, you are not getting any sense that there is romantic intention on his part.
Okay.
He seems to genuinely just want to be able to talk with you.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Rats.
Hold on. Oh, can I rewind for 2 seconds and say during my interaction with Dorian earlier that I took the moral high ground about an issue that matters?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Great. That's a second integrity. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, she takes Isaac's arm, cups her hand with the other free one and follows wherever he leads.
And he leads Astrid out. I'm going to say that rather than the gardens, the path that you begin to walk on is more towards the ruins of the monastery. And I think we're actually going to draw back from that interaction and move back to the study before Fitz disengages and goes to find Elise.
Great. I think Dorian is, sipping his drink very slowly. He is looking in your direction, but not directly at you. That you can tell he is, of course, wearing his glasses. I will apologize I am unexplained. There are things that I need to do, and Abigail and I were looking to see who we could work with to do it. And well, your name was on the list.
Fitz also sipping just downs whatever he's drinking and sort of sets it down very forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Dorian, if you needed my help about anything, you could have just asked me.
It's not that simple, Fitz.
People say that, but it often is.
He actually takes off his glasses. His eyes are gold, like an unnatural color for humans. It's the whole situation is complicated. I can't just ask, especially not you. I actually like you. Yeah.
Fitz gives a little like shake of his head, and he's like, I've liked you from the moment I met you.
Likewise.
Listen, I don't know this is the right place to be having this conversation, but if you are in trouble and if you need help, well, let's just say that I have connections and abilities that may be able to help you sort things.
Be any good with souls?
Actually, I have a cousin, and Fitz is half joking when he says that, but he does. And he says, I'm more in the information business, but I'd be willing to do a little digging for you.
I know who, I know what, I know why. I'm working on the how of how to undo what's been done. And well, that's a part of the problem. And why I don't want to, is why I have to be careful with who I tell, what I tell them.
Fitz is moving closer, and he just says, Dorian, you know me. I'm a master of severing connections. My family is proof enough of that. And then he gets close enough that there is a camaraderie hand. And he says, I don't want you getting hurt, but it sounds like your situation is difficult. But I will do what I can to help you. And the hand goes from the shoulder to your cheek, rubs a little thumb over it. Gives you a little pat.
He will lean into the hand. I've got some catching up to do, but I'll let you know.
Good. And Fitz is back to his sort of ebullient self, gives you a little on the chin, I know you got this. And then he will pour himself another glass of whatever and walk out to find Elise.
Will is 110% right, you two. That is an intimacy move right there. That is an intimacy move. I am not letting the two of you get away with that.
How dare you? What if I want to get away with it?
My guy, my good dude.
Oh wait, no, that's bad. No,
That's
that's
homosexual.
Bad.
That's intimate as hell.
That's so homosexual.
No, let's run that back. Hold on. I have to fix it. real quick. No homo. Not intimate move. It's fine.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Too late.
Historians will say that we were roommates.
Oh my god.
And that is fine.
Give us the Rammies, Q. Give us the Rammies of what just happened there.
Here's the thing, you walked right into the Rammies.
All right. Well, so good news for me. My dark power loses a string on me. However, the dark power gains one on Fitz, which is what I have been trying to avoid this whole time.
He does.
You son of a bitch. Ah!
Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
They eat my man.
That is the tagline for tonight.
The consequences of our actions.
The consequences of all of your actions. Not really Astrid. Astrid is innocent and has done nothing wrong ever in their life.
Always, Astrid has done anything wrong in their life.
Keep complimenting me. Thank you.
And that does also mean that does also mean we've got a bit of a problem, Fitz, because activating the intimacy move with Dorian means it just broke with Elise.
I was told that was already broken.
Elise does not know that. Elise
I was told that was already broken. So
did Wood happen before today? Wood happened before today. Perhaps we're good.
It did, and so I feel like that probably was reestablished at that point.
Okay, don't worry. We're gonna reestablish again. Don't worry.
It's fine. It'll be fine. Do I know that because it goes this way? Probably not, unless.
Yep, you do not. Only Fitz notices that change, and I think for you, Fitz, in that moment, you felt a closeness with Dorian that you had never experienced with him before. And that brought the two of you together to a level that you were not expecting. It isn't that it's necessarily romantic or hot and steamy, but you both shared, unless it is, you both shared some very vulnerable things with each other in that moment.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. It was beautiful.
Even if it hadn't been for the physical touch, I probably would have triggered your intimacy moves regardless because of how you were communicating so beautifully, and we'd love to see it.
Open communication is important. It is the foundation of any relationship. Anyway.
And sometimes demons get strings on you when you are emotionally vulnerable. It's
fine. If Abraham Donatelli wants to come at me, he is welcome to try. Anyway, I'm going to the garden. Smooches to you, Dorian.
Ciao.
Dorian, before we shift the camera over to Astrid, what is Dorian going to do now that he is ostensibly left alone in the study with no one else in sight? Because Elise has disappeared, Fitz has disappeared, Astrid has also disappeared, Duke and Duchess are gone as well, as is Isaac.
Also, Astrid gave me the most polite cold shoulder. Like just full swerve. But like it was, no thank you, no, I'm okay, no thank you. Like I was trying to sell that stuff at the mall. It's fine.
Listen, Amber, make bad decisions.
No, for sure.
But Astrid does not.
Astrid is good and perfect and has never done anything wrong in their entire life. It's fine. I think Dorian is just gonna chill. I think he's just sort of. Oh, question for you: did I feel the swapping and the moving of the strings?
You did. You did. And perhaps it was a relief in that way that Fitz left as quickly as he did afterwards, because as you said, Dorian has been trying to prevent this exact thing from happening. And you could feel that exact moment that connection with Abraham Donatelli moved over to include Fitz as well. And the feeling you got was Abraham Donatelli was very pleased.
Okay, so straight up change of plans. That's fine. Dorian is going to grab another drink. And then he's going to very foolishly, but necessarily, try and find Astrid.
Okay. We'll get back to that in a moment, because first we're going to go to where Astrid is walking with Isaac. And I know I had said before that the path that he was taking was towards the ruins of the monastery. Mm-hmm. What was Astrid's response to that?
I think she's just keeping her face extremely neutral at this time. Probably both for her own safety and also Isaac's, knowing how tenuous everything is right now.
And Isaac seems fine with that. He is keeping up polite conversation, for instance, gesturing to different locations on the estate, pointing out the conservatory, pointing out other buildings, sharing a bit of their history with you. But what I think stands out to Astrid is that as he is talking, Astrid, you are very good at reading people, and you can tell that there is something going on under the surface, like something that he wants to say, but has not, at least as of yet, allowed himself to say.
I would like to manipulate an NPC.
I would love for you to do that.
Let's go.
Please, please, please.
I'm going to use Speak from the Heart. When you have someone's best interest at heart, add 2 to your rolls to manipulate an NPC. And I think this is a moment where she's like, absolutely, like, I can see a similar pain in you. Like you're safe here. So Astrid is not gaslight, gatekeeping, they bossing. Unless no. Yeah. So they like hold on a little bit tighter to their hand, and cat the fuck these animals. Okay, sorry. And they say, may I address you casually?
Of course, Lady Primer.
Isaac, I'm concerned for you. What truly is on your heart right now? You seem like you've not been able to... You seem like you've been repressing something for countless hours. This is a safe space. You can be yourself here. And I think I have to roll with, I think it's volatile?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I don't have my book in front of me. Okay. Fuck me, dude. Okay. So I rolled an 11 on the die, and then +2 because my volatile's +2, so that's a 13, and then a +2 with my move, so that's a 15.
Yo.
And I love it.
Wild.
I love it when the dice tell a story, because that is absolutely perfect. And it makes sense, because Isaac clearly wants to talk about this, and at this point, especially when he starts talking, Astrid, it is abundantly clear to you he chose you to like walk with because he couldn't imagine there being another person that he could share all of this with. He looked so relieved. I mean, his shoulders actually drop a bit of tension. And he says, Astrid, if I can call you Astrid.
Of course.
I hope you don't hate me for what I'm about to say.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
And incredibly, we have another set of raiders. Let's go. Thank you, Tales from the Table Studios, at this moment
up,
where
Lion,
our unicorn
hello.
is about to
Welcome to
get
the
a confession. Because, yes, Isaac looks at you and says, hope you do not hate me after I tell you this. I truly believe I was responsible for Damien Deloso's murder and the attack on his brother. I truly believe that that falls on my head, and if I had not been so foolish as to involve myself with him, this never would have happened. He was so good. Not as good as you, but he had the same light, and I tainted that light by allowing myself to become engaged to him.
You shouldn't blame yourself for loving someone, because loving someone is the most powerful good. It's the ultimate good. Love has the power to change the course of history. And what happened to Damien is awful, sure. And it's a crime that I wish somebody could truly pay for. But the next crime is blaming yourself, Isaac, for something you have no involvement in. The only thing you're guilty of is loving somebody too much and wanting the best for them. And she winces at that, hurting herself a little bit.
And he notices that and says, it seems like you are not unfamiliar with that pain yourself.
No, I'm not.
I cannot imagine, though, that our situation is purely similar. Astrid, you don't understand my parents. And that is
Your
the
parents.
moment, as you say, my parents, that we are going to cut away from the two of you.
Fuck. That's good because my wine delivery is here and I need to pick it up. So
I got you.
Fuck.
I'm gonna be needing that post haste.
And we are going to be panning over to Elise and Fitz.
Don't do me like this,
There's
JD.
violence at this table right now, and it is purely being committed by you, JD.
Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by JD's DMing.
I don't know how you're doing gay rights and gay wrongs at the same time.
That's my brand. Gay rights and gay wrongs is every single character that I play, and it is my GMing style.
The emotional whiplash is unparalleled.
Yeah. So, JD, what violence and bullshit would you like to commit now?
In the comments, hashtag JD's fault.
Just curious.
There is absolutely no violence. There is no violence happening at this exact moment. Elise and Fitz, you are going out to the garden to find each other. What does that reunion look like?
That's a great question, JD.
It is. Mm-hmm.
That is a very good question. I think that depends on if one conversation has happened yet.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that there's a conversation that Elise has been meaning to have for probably the past few days, and it can go exactly one of two ways. And that will greatly inform her candor towards most people. Fits at the top of that list. Oh man, because that will have, I will say, great effect on everyone's safety.
Interesting. Tell me about this conversation.
That's the thing. I don't know how it went yet. But I do think typically when the sovereign summons Elise for tea or lessons or what have you, that summon comes from them. I think for perhaps the first time, a proper summons comes from Elise. And it is just an invitation to tea.
And what I will say there, Elise, is that conversation has not happened yet. There was a response, so it was not ignored.
Okay.
But Sovereign Micah responded that due to what happened with Prince Reynard,
for sure,
he would not be able to meet with them, but would like to in the coming weeks. They did acknowledge that they had been perhaps delinquent in ensuring that Elise had their lessons, and that that's
one way to put it.
They were going to be doing what they could to prioritize Elise where possible.
Somehow I hate that more. That's fine. That is enough of an answer for Elise at the moment. Yeah, they are probably in the garden before Fitz frees themselves from Dorian Smolder. Just sort of, taking a walk, fan held in two hands behind their back, just sort of strolling, looking at things, taking it all in. Just not being where Astrid is, letting them have that little fun time.
So I think Fitz comes walking very, very briskly and with purpose across the garden. And I think normally he puts on a bit of a show in terms of like noticing people because he's got very good senses. But in this case, there's none of it. It's just like beeline. That is where Elise is. That is where I am going.
I think they hear you coming, and like they don't need the grand introduction so much. As more morsel senses might need. So they just sort of like, are walking and just kind of pause, incline their head a bit, and we'll wait for him to show up. They're not in a hurry tonight.
I think he joins you and just sort of falls into step as we're walking. Very similar to other situations that we have been in.
Yep.
And it's not like he's not offering his arm or doing any of the sort of more courtly things, but it's just like the occasional brush of hand on hand or like shoulders touching. And he walks, I think, unless Elise says something, he's going to be quiet for longer than you've probably ever known Fitz to be quiet.
Oh, man. I think there is a moment, like, she is so used to it at this point, even if it is as a goof at first, for Fitz to, like, offer the arm and do the whole fancy whatever, that she sort of, like, hears him coming and puts a hand out, and then it doesn't. Right. You wanted to speak of something?
He's just walking for a little bit, and I think walking fast enough that maybe we're outpacing a maid or a chaperone. Not inappropriate, but enough
in eyesight,
distance.
maybe not earshot.
Right. And he's also speaking more, he's speaking low enough that vampire ears will hear it, but human ears won't.
Who's a vampire? I don't know. It's weird.
That's a hypothetical, okay? Like,
wild of you to say that. I mean, if somebody was like in the trees or something, I don't know.
Right. If there was a vampire just lurking anywhere, they might be able to hear it.
Sure. Good to know. But thank you for putting that tidbit out there.
Yeah. After a moment, he just says, I hope you're doing well.
I am doing as well as I can be. Certain meetings are still in the works, so I apologize for my silence.
He just nods at that. He's not expecting things to have progressed in that direction. But he does at one point take a big sigh and just say, is there someone else that I should know about beyond what I know about?
I think there is definitely a pause there, as in like a someone else, and then like it kind of like clicks like I do not know, to be quite honest. There are other intentions declared, nothing accepted, nothing set in stone at this point. I would not accept something like that without speaking to you first. I cannot control what other people say, but I have not declared any intentions for anyone else yet. Sort of like, why do you ask?
He sort of straightens himself up and turns and looks at Elise for the first time, and big old sad werewolf eyes. And
you can't just say words like that, Alex. You can't say words like that.
I can and I will.
I've
said it. And he says, if there's someone else, that's fine. I told you that I would wait until the mountains broke and every star fell. And I'm content to do that. But and he looks up and like, I'm willing to accept another person in this. But if there is someone I'd like to know, after our meeting on the polo ground, there was a connection I felt between us, and I felt that connection break the other day. I've been handling it in my own way, but I admit it leaves me curious. I'm not asking for an explanation, just a knowledge.
And I have been. I'm being honest. I've told you what there is to tell. There is someone with intent, but that someone is not me yet. Fitz, I would tell you.
I trust that. I trust that.
Would you tell me?
Of course. Listen, JD, with your face. No. There's a lot of things going on right now, but the intimacy move at the moment is purely a bromance of roommate variety.
Yes.
That's not what Elise is talking about.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think they sort of stop for a second and just sort of this look on their face like, huh, bold of you to say. I have and will always be as honest with you as I can. I've told you that from the beginning. But if there's someone else, I am in the same boat as you. I do not mind, but I would like to know.
Alex is confused.
Miss Carewood means nothing to you?
Okay, deep sigh.
And actually, that is where we are going to pause the two of you right there.
Great.
Because we are going to move back inside to where Mr. Dorian Black was finishing up his drink before going to see if he could find Astrid. And Dorian, you have been left alone in the study at this point. Again, everyone else has scattered. And you are finishing up your drink, moving towards the door, when something catches your attention. It's not so much a sight or a sound, but a feeling, because you are connected, as we have now established, to Abraham Donatelli. You are connected to the infernal. And you feel yourself getting a sense of that same infernal energy from one of the books on the shelf in the library, in the study. What do you do?
Obviously, we're going to go check on that.
And when you reach the book, it is an innocuous volume, no title on the spine. Do you touch it?
Yeah.
And as you reach to take hold of the book, there is the sound of springs and locks unclicking, and the entire bookcase shifts out. And that is where we are going to pause for tonight's session.
Hey, JD, fuck you.
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to...
In the comments.
Got somewhere to be, but also fuck you.
But I love you all. I've given you such a delightful mystery. We have so many threads. For the record, we will be picking up right here. So there will not be a time skip.
So.
I am not.
No.
Because there is a lot happening. There is a question about romance. There is a confession from Isaac to Astrid. And there is a secret room beyond a fake door in the study. Did we all have fun tonight?
I did.
That's a word.
Yes. Yes. We had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rammied hard.
Man, we fucked around, and today we found out.
Yeah,
we got rammied. We got rammied real hard. Like, we did not rammy, we got rammied. Yeah, they happened to us actively.
We got.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences of all of your actions, except again for Astrid, because they are perfect.
No.
I've never done anything wrong.
All right.
I didn't even do nothing. I'm just chilling. Like, what the fuck?
You know, sometimes when you vibe too hard, and deals with demons happen, and you find secret rooms. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. I just want
normal
everyone
and
to know
too close to the sun.
everything is so normal and regular here. It's totally cool. And so with that, I would love to give all of you a chance to remind everyone how amazing you are and all of the cool things that you are doing. I am going to go, if it's all right with you, in reverse order with you, Amber, first, because I know you have to go soon. So,
yeah, I'm going to be hopping off as soon as I close out. Hi, everybody. I'm Amber, also known as the Space Jamber. I'm a TTRPG writer, editor, podcaster, and streamer. You can find me anywhere there's internet at the Space Jamber. I have been Astrid Primer, your Uwu unicorn. Uwu-nicorn. There it is. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, the next thing I'm going to be on is Monday. I'm going to be on Roll 5. I'm going to be on Roll D5 on Monday playing Sexy Battle Wizards. And then on Wednesday, I'll be over on my lovely friend's High Shelf Collective playing with Kit, actually playing Cyberpunk if I don't get food poisoning again. But yeah, fingers crossed. I've learned my lesson. And then I guess, okay, I'll shout out my friend. If you're in the Austin, Texas area tomorrow and you are interested in comedy, my friend Glenn Rose, actually a friend of mine from high school, is doing a set over at Fallout. So if you like live comedy and you're in Austin, Texas, go see my friend. I'll be there. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for a painful session, JD. I adore you.
Thank you for suffering through it, Amber. You were incredible as always.
Goodbye.
Love this whole cast. This is amazing. Okay,
Love
bye.
You, Amber.
I'm gonna hop off and call.
All right. All right, Alex. I'm gonna just keep the order in reverse. So
great.
Again.
Okay. Hi, I'm Alex. Mightiest Finn on Twitter. I've been Captain Fitzgerald de Villiers this evening. Just a totally normal human, not a werewolf. What do I have to say? I write games, including the Backwater Southern Gothic TTRPG and Backroads, which is an American Gothic TTRPG that will be coming out in probably a week or so, if I remember correctly. Check those out if you want to add a little Southern Gothic or American Gothic horror to your TTRPG experience. What other things? We finished up Elbow recently, the Eldritch Lady Badasses of Wrestling, which was amazing, and I had a great time. The cast was amazing. Those are available on the Live from the Apocalypse YouTubes, and I suggest you watch them because it was a lot of fun. Come back in May-ish. I think we're going to be doing a Backwoods actual play, which is a new project that I have coming out. And then in June, I'm going to be joined by several members of this lovely cast doing Changeling the Lost, Cold Iron, which is a alternate universe where the Fae changelings and the fairies took over the Soviet Union, and there's been a murder, and things are going to get real fun. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Incredible. All of the projects, as always, Alex, impeccable. And speaking as well of impeccable, Q.
Hello. I am Q. I played Mr. Dorian Black, who is a perfectly normal human. Definitely doesn't have any ties to the infernal nonsense going around here. It's fine. You can find me on Twitter and also on Insta, though I don't post nearly as much. It's Midnight Inc. That is midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. In 2 weeks, we are going to be doing the season finale of our successor states of Rega, the Shadow of the Dragon arc. Then we're going to be taking a break and then coming back with more stuff for Rega. We're getting back into that and we're excited. I've got a bunch of stuff coming in on this channel very soon. I'm going to be in the Changeling game, which I'm very stoked about. There's another thing happening that we still can't talk about.
You can talk about it if that's the one that you're thinking of, since that'll drop before Cold Iron. So
yeah,
you can talk about Redacted.
Yeah, so there's this game that JD made, and we're going to be playing that. It's called Synchronicity, I believe.
Synchronicity is the system. Game will be called Redacted.
Yeah, the game will be called Redacted.
Wow.
Oh, it's gonna be real good. I'm very excited. I'm playing an absolute monster, and I cannot wait. Like, Dorian is like wholesome and sweet. Not this other guy. He's an absolute asshole. Anyway, yeah. So that's all I'm doing. Yeah.
Incredible. And last but not least, speaking of incredible, Kit.
Speaking of personally victimized by JD.
That too.
That's CEO of Personally Victimized by JD. Hi, I am Kit. You can find me places on the internet at Kit Roll Cause on Twitter or at just Kit Roll on Instagram. And now Homegirl just published her first game. So for the Lost Caravan Jam. So check it out. I believe it's, what is it? kitroll.itch.io. If you want to play a goofy little game about, oh no, you're a kid and you got lost from your parent at the supermarket. Chaos. It's delightful. It's goofy. It is, a work in progress, but it's a fun time. I have been the lovely, the infallible Elise Clarendon, totally a regular human person with no drama and no Rammies. You can find me tomorrow over on Lost Caravan, where we will be doing episode 2 of our Fabula Ultima campaign, Fatal Ascension, where I just play yet another little guy. I'm just a little robot. I'm here for a good time. I'm vibing. It's great. Nothing's going to go wrong. Everything is fine. And then on Wednesday, as Amber said, I'll be over on High Shelf Collective with them and an incredibly talented cast, playing some Cyberpunk Red, where I'm playing CPR for the first time and doing a Netrunner. So it's fine and nothing can go wrong. And then I believe on Thursday, is it? The 27th, we will be back on Lost Caravan with the potential finale or close to it of a Lancer campaign.
Oh, fuck.
Where that will be, there's no sugarcoating it. That's Rammies all the way down. It's gonna be fine. JD, we're totally gonna live and everything's gonna be great. Yeah, that's my week. Peep the socials for other stuff as it comes out. I am emotionally okay.
So say we all. And with that, I will try and be brief, although you have all dropped so many things that I had even forgotten would need to be plugged, which is beautiful. So I will be quick. So I have been JD, the storyteller. For this time, getting to be on the other side of the table, I am usually the person being tortured and emotionally victimized and damaged, usually by Will. In that way, you can find me in Class Reunion, where we will be playing next Tuesday, so that is coming up. Where there will be Rammies. There will definitely be Rammies. You can also find me in Academy H, which will be recording next Sunday, where again, Rammies all the way around. It's fine. I'm probably going to die. That next week's going to be a week for a lot of dying. On Will's birthday, apparently. Incredible. So yes, you will be able to find me with Live from the Apocalypse for those 2 sessions. And yes, extra trauma for JD is Will's present to himself. This is our birthday, comrade. That is true. Incredible. So yes, I will be back with Live from the Apocalypse a number of times next week. I will also be playing with Table 1 for a season of Secrets and Shadows next Friday, after I probably die in Lancer on Thursday. It's cool. We've all recorded final messages. It's going to be great.
Don't worry about it. It's been good.
It's totally fine. And of course, if you did not catch the premiere of Thy Kingdom Come earlier today, I also got to be emotionally victimized by Della. So, all of my GMs are doling it out to me, and Alex made threats earlier. He will be torturing me in cold iron, and I am okay with this.
I didn't make threats.
You made promises.
That's right.
Yes. And of course, speaking of getting to torture players, I will be getting to torture players as Redacted rolls out near the middle of next month. It is a psychological horror game where, as Q said, a number of characters are playing not good people who are being punished for things that they may have done in previous cycles that they have been a part of. It is going to be a good time. It definitely has Silent Hill, Little Hope, psychological horror games like that type vibes, and I cannot wait to see what my amazing cast comes up with. I think that is all I have to plug. The other things I do have to plug before we wrap up are that you can come back this Sunday for the Madigans. That is our Dresden Files game. It is very good. You want to return for that. And I think, Will can yell at me if I'm wrong, I think we've plugged everything else that is coming up over the next week before at least the next season of Secrets and Shadows. And if Will does not yell at me, I will say, I think we are ready then to move into saying goodnight, everyone, and gearing up to raid. I would have to look at my messages to see who we will be raiding, but Will is going to help me with that. We will raid a stream that one of our friends, Candace, is in because we love them. And with that, cast, say goodnight, you lovely, amazing, beautiful people.
Good night, you lovely, amazing,
Night,
beautiful
lovely,
people.
Good night, you lovely, amazing, beautiful people.
You are so good. I love you. Night, everyone.
That makes